You know what it is, it's your guy, Rhett Butler. I am the Wash Strategist, and welcome to Wash Strategist TV. As usual, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Hit that notification bell. You will receive your mail right here, all day, all the time. We gotta get the vibes right, because vibes don't lie like a mouth do. Shout out to Leon Thomas's ass for that word. So I went to college, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of these guys, at this point I'm gonna call it old school, where I was told by my parents, oh, go to school, you're gonna be straight, do what we didn't do, blah, 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 right? Both of my parents never went to college. Later, my mother went and got her 4-year degree online. But actually, let me take that back. My mother got an associate's first, and then she got a 4-year degree. But her associates allowed her to still become a vice president at a major bank in New York, the whole nine. My pops didn't go to college. Of course, he graduated high school. But what I noticed with me, my generation, is our parents were like, you know what? Y'all gonna be the one to go to college. No excuses, no questions asked. So it was a no-brainer for me, my cousins, all of us, my sister, all of us to know we going to college, no ifs, ands, or buts. But what I've noticed now with the creator economy, the gig economy, AI on some level, and just in general, the value proposition for going to a 4-year university, especially in person, seems to be declining greatly. And I started thinking about this. I'm like, why is it now that going to college doesn't seem like it's that big of an interest of this generation? Let's call them Gen Z. Well, I think one thing really it boils down to, and that's I don't need it to get paid anymore. I mean, I think that's basically how they're assessing everything.
College enrollment has been declining over the past decade, and many institutions are struggling financially. More than 440 of the nation's 1,700 private, nonprofit, 4-year colleges are at risk of closing or merging, and that's within the next 10 years. That is according to new projections. So, what does all this mean for students and those who care about students? CBS News contributor and Harvard economics professor Roland Fryer joins us. You believe this is a necessary and possibly overdue market correction. That sounds like a good thing, is it?
I think it is a good thing for America.
Why?
Well, because look, if you're investing in something and there's no real return on that investment, it's time to get out. And that's what's happening here. These are a lot of colleges that statistically produce zero value.
So they are boutique institutions that offer a couple of things that some small subset of students and their parents find attractive, but are not really part of the relevancy of higher education?
Well, I wouldn't go there. They don't necessarily need to be boutique institutions. They're just not, the education is not being rewarded in the labor market. And so if you're paying $40,000 or $50,000 a year into something, you come out of college with $200,000 worth of debt, and your income doesn't go up any more than if you had not gone to those schools, that's not a good investment. So the fact that the market is finally starting to work and students and families are voting with their feet, that is good news.
Because this is kind of a parable about the dangers of tuition inflation and the cost of a higher education up against what you gain on the other side.
That's exactly right.
Is that the only way to measure, though, the value of a college education?
I knew you were going to ask.
I am so predictable, Gail. I am 1,000% predictable.
You're picking on economists this morning. No, it's not. Oh, look, we focus on it because it's an easy measure. But look, civic engagement, character, there are all sorts of ways to evaluate.
Socialization.
Socialization's another one. Thank you. But here's the truth. The colleges that are in danger of closing also don't have a comparative advantage of producing those things either. There have been surveys and lots of data that shows, yes, those outcomes are important, but those outcomes are also produced at colleges that generate higher labor market returns as well.
So ultimately, what do you think is the value of an education at an elite university or one of the Ivies? What do you think?
Well, look, the statistics are pretty clear. On average, nothing.
Nothing?
However,
and you're at Harvard. Careful, professor. You're at Harvard.
Well, I never paid tuition to them. It's a different relationship. But what's interesting about the Ivy Plus schools, and what I mean by Ivy Plus, I mean Harvard, Princeton, Duke, Stanford, is that I think of it as a lottery ticket. So at Harvard, for example, you have a 60% higher chance of being in the top 1%. And a lot of people are willing to invest some significant resources for that kind of lottery ticket.
Yeah, this is a very layered conversation, but these young high schoolers and their parents are sitting in this gray area now, understanding that certain schools are like lottery tickets, and then other opportunities outside of going to school, just starting your own business right away is very intriguing. So what should these parents and also these students be asking these high school counselors?
It's a great question. They should be trying to understand what is the success of the graduates who come out of these schools, and what are the graduation rates. So we ran an experiment in Houston, and we went down and we tried
Less than 30 seconds.
help people understand what's the true value in terms of return on investment and cost, and try to get people to make more informed decisions.
That's spot on.
I was reading an article about this, and then I put my own article together, which I'm going to read to you. And I think that, you know, strategy-wise, it's time for us to all start thinking and rethinking. Is in-person four-year college worth the financial commitment, student loans, financial aid, all of these things, hurdles that become challenges later in terms of getting a house and all kind of other good things for your credit? Or are online degrees just as good, or are either of the two necessary? Anyway, I broke down what I found from reports into a story on the washstrategist.substack.com, but I'm gonna read it to you now. The degree is losing its monopoly, is what the article's called. Hundreds of colleges are projected to close this decade. The official story is demographics and dollars. The deeper story is a credential whose brand is quietly collapsing, and three economies waiting to absorb what's left. Yo, this is deep. This is deep. You know what I'm saying? The college university brand has been collapsing for a long time. We can look at the Nepo babies whose parents were paying for these guys to get Ivy League educations, paying for them to get into the school, to get those Ivy League educations, I should say. Manufacturing credentials, manufacturing achievements to get to the next level in terms of the collegiate branding experience. And people started to see behind the veil like, wow, not everybody with money is gifted intellectually. So a lot of them are paying their way through. This was a rumor before. Now we know it to be facts, and some parents went to jail for this. But more than that, I think just regular, modern day, middle class, upper middle class folks are just looking at this whole situation like, man, I'm in debt. My daddy's in debt. My mom is in debt. Do I really want this for myself? When a college in rural Vermont announces it's closing, the obituary writes itself. Too few students, thin margins, a birth rate that peaked years ago and is now only arriving at the admissions office. That story is true. It's also incomplete, though. The headline numbers are real enough to sober anyone. A new Huron Consulting Group projection estimates that 442 of the nation's roughly 1,700 private nonprofit four-year colleges, about 670,000 students between them, are at risk of closing or merging within 10 years, with more than 120 at the highest tier of risk. Best Colleges, which has tracked the carnage since 2020, counts at least 49 nonprofit closures and 40 mergers already. And the 2024 Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia model warns that a sharp enrollment drop could push closures close to 80 institutions a year. You got to think about this. You know how many universities fuel towns? Like, take State College, PA. If you went to Penn State, the entire town is employed by Penn State or lives off the Penn State ecosystem. And I ain't just talking about the football team revenue, right? Like, that whole town does something at the school. Howard University was like this heavily for black folks in Washington, D.C. I mean, we can go on and on and on, right? University of Iowa, I've been over there. That place runs the whole town. I mean, the whole nine. So think about it, right? We're talking about more rural, but still, these are the places that need these universities the most for income. It's kind of like a private prison or prison in general that's in a rural town and the whole town works there. It's crazy. The consultants explained this with the vocabulary of supply and demand. 2.3 million fewer students than in 2010. A college-going rate that fell from 70% of high school graduates in 2016 to 61% in 2023. A collapse in international visas, looming federal loan caps. Every spreadsheet checks out. Yeah, this is a real new pandemic educationally. But spreadsheets describe symptoms. The underlying condition is a question Americans have started answering differently than they did for 60 years. Is the degree still worth it? Let's talk about it. Let's get to that. And the reason that question is suddenly live isn't only that college got expensive, it's that 3 competing economies have emerged to make the degree look optional. And a fourth force, AI, is hollowing out the very jobs the degree was built to deliver. Yeah, man. So this all leads me to one thing, right? Colleges and universities, they have a branding problem. What is branding? Again, branding means perception. Let's talk about it. Think of the 4-year degree the way you think of any incumbent brand that ran a near monopoly for decades. Its value was never purely the education. It was the signal, a credential that told employers, this person can be trusted with a desk and a salary. For 2 generations, that signal had no real competitor. You either had the card or you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Monopoly card, that is, right? But Pew, the Pew Research Center, they now find a majority of Americans no longer believe the payoff justifies the price after tuition rose more than 40% faster than inflation across a quarter century. Yo, this is real, man. Like, financial distress from getting an education is a real thing, bro. And like, at the end of the day, there's other ways to eat now. So people are like, man, I'm doing this shit for. Like, I watched my cousins all go through it when picking colleges for their kids. Everything was about the bread. You're not giving up no scholarship, we ain't going. It's too expensive. Capitalize upon that with, these kids got to eat, right? Like, not every kid is going to jump out the window and get a job. I got a job my freshman year. I knew my mother wasn't going to give me much, you know what I mean? But most other people, nah, they expected mommy and daddy to hold it down. Couple that with if you're a single parent. Yo, the burden is real. When a premium product's customers stop believing the premium is real, you don't have a pricing problem. You have a branding problem. I've been saying this for years with education. Y'all got to fix that part, man. You got to make it more about the experience. Lean into the experiential. And brand problems are contagious in exactly the way college closures are. The strongest names survive a loss of faith, but the regional, the rural, the tuition dependent do not. Is Howard University going to be fine? Yes. Is Harvard University going to be fine? Yes. Spelman, Morehouse. Yes. Penn State, yes. Them schools that, I don't know the name, the dun schools, respectfully. Let's talk about the disruptors here. Disruptor 1, the screen replaced the campus. What we doing right now? What up, YouTube University? The most measurable challenge isn't philosophical, it's logistical. For the first time, more U.S. college students are learning entirely online than entirely in person. God damn it, this technology done stole the game from y'all in-person teachers. I mean, let's get to that. You know what I'm saying? My little sister recently applied to be a high school teacher at an all virtual high school. Can you imagine? I don't have to go to high school. I could be in the crib, put y'all on the screen, but I'm in the house. I don't have to eat y'all nasty ass lunch. I don't have to have no money for no little butter crunch cookies. They probably don't do that no more, but I'm back. That's back in my day. Shout out to the 90s. You know what I mean? I'm bodega shorty. But let's get back to it. The most measurable challenger isn't philosophical, it's logical. For the first time, more U.S. college students are learning entirely online than entirely in person. Roughly a quarter of all students are now enrolled exclusive in online programs, and the online degree market reached about $74 billion in 2025, up from $36 billion in 2019. 88% of institutions say they plan to expand online offerings within 3 years. Crucially, that demand isn't spreading evenly, it's concentrating. The 10 largest online-only institutions now enroll roughly 1 in 5 online students. Western Governors, Southern New Hampshire, Arizona State Online. Y'all seen all the ads, y'all know what it is. These are no longer alternatives to college. For millions of working adults, I'll let your boy, they are college cheaper, faster, asynchronous, indifferent to geography. Listen, I want to go back and get another degree. I want to get 2 more degrees. I'm not trying to sit in nobody's classroom, bruh. I'm trying to get this money, not me. The best way for me to do it is to fit it in my very busy lifestyle between work, my son, my ambitions, my passion projects and whatnot, my side hustles. I ain't got no time for this, dog. And I need my Saturdays and my Sundays for me. Boundaries, we grown. Here's the cruel geometry. The students a mega university wins are disproportionately the same students a small residential college needs to survive. The regional commuter, the first generation learner, the adult learning for a credential. The Vermont colleges of the world aren't losing to a better version of themselves. No, 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 no. They're losing to a category that doesn't require a campus, a dining hall, or a 130-acre farm. All that's fly, though, but we don't need that. Online education is the single clearest digital force, already deciding which colleges close. Listen, disruptor number 2, the internet sells a different dream. This is the part. I said branding means perception. Colleges have a branding problem. If online universities are the supply side disruption, the creator and gig economies are the demand side erosion. Preach, Rhett. You preaching. Rhett, you preaching. We are the champions of the world. Shout out to the Knicks. Knicks in 5. Oh, man. And they work on belief more than on balance sheets. I'm going to run that back just in case you missed me, God body. If online universities are the supply side disruption, the creator and gig economies are the demand side erosion. And they work on belief more than on balance sheets. You better work. Why? About 70 million Americans, roughly 36% of the workforce, now do some form of gig or freelance work. A segment growing about 3 times faster than traditional employment. All y'all out there got a goddamn side hustle, man, and it probably involves that Uber Eats app or some derivative of that, baby. Ain't no shame in it. Let's get this money, man. Get the money, man. It's for you. The creator economy alone, what we doing right here, this is creator economy, yo, is valued somewhere around 190 to 210 billion with a B, Wody, with more than 200 million creators worldwide and an estimated 162 million in the United States. Roughly 70% of Gen Z say they aspire to be creators. Nearly a third of Gen Z and millennials report skipping college outright. Yo, listen, my son, 15 years old, genius, straight A student. He wants to be a filmmaker or be in the film business. He already said this off rip. He makes films now, right? He does newscasts. He knows how to edit. He knows how to shoot. He works with a team. He's getting on his way, right? He knows how to act. He knows how to get it cracking. So what I'm saying to you is, although my son has already told me he wants to go to college, he already sees his future in the creator economy. The pitch is intoxicating and clear. Why borrow $100K for a signal when you can build an audience, a storefront, or a freelance book of business with a laptop and no gatekeeper? Wody, shout out to Brand Power Direct 101. Harness the psychology of your brand. Coming soon. Coming soon. That's my book. But the data demands an asterisk, and it's a big one. Only about 12% of full-time creators earn more than $50,000. Reality check. Relax. We ain't all getting rich out here. You better have a couple plays on the deck. Cards to play. The median creator side hustle brings in roughly $400 a month. The creator economy is a power law wearing the costume of a meritocracy. A handful of winners and a very long tail. Man, preach. So its real damage to higher education isn't that it replaces the degree's earning power. It's that it doesn't have to. It only has to make a wavering 18-year-old believe an alternative exists. Belief is enough to bend an enrollment curve, and enrollment curves are what close colleges. Man, understand what's going on right here. You know what I'm saying? All we're talking about is a wavering, shaking belief in the system of higher learning. But that's enough, though. And you got to think, colleges bank on big tuition for their big-ass bills. The accelerant to all of this, AI breaks the bottom rung. Woo-wee! Then there's the variable no closure report has fully priced in because it's too new to show up as a cause of death. Artificial intelligence, AI. AI cuts in two directions at once, and both are bad for the traditional degree's value proposition. First, it's eroding the entry-level job the degree was supposed to unlock. Postings for roles requiring a degree have fallen sharply since ChatGPT's 2022 debut. By some measures in tech, damn, only 2022 ChatGPT came out? If you like me, you feel like that thing has been your little assistant, good angel, bad devil on your shoulder for a while now. That thing talks to me about all kinds of things in life. You know what I'm saying? Damn, only been around 4 years. So posting for roles requiring a degree have fallen sharply since ChatGPT's 2022 debut by some measures in tech, by as much as 2/3. Revelio Labs found entry-level hiring down 11% over 18 months. Harvard economist Katzen Golden found the college wage premium has barely budged since 2000, and the San Francisco Fed pins that stagnation on softening demand for those workers. Wow. A Dallas Fed paper this year found AI simultaneously reducing entry-level hiring and raising wages for experienced workers in the same occupations, automating the rung you were supposed to climb in on. I mean, it's real. When you really think about what's going on, like the numbers are staggering and they're showing a pattern. They're showing a pattern. So all we're showing here is a pattern. By the way, please like, subscribe, hype this video. I'm trying to bring you guys more content straight from your guy, man, the wash strategist himself. Let's go. Second, AI is repricing the signal itself. The World Economic Forum found that AI skills now command a 23% wage premium versus just 8% for a bachelor's degree in isolation. Wow. So let's break that down. You're going to probably get 23% more in incentives, financial gains, whatever else, just by having AI skills versus just having a degree, a bachelor's at that. So you know what that means for all of us out here already in the workforce? Pimping our bachelor degree, throw AI skills in the resume, man. Very important. I know how to prompt. You know how to prompt? Formulate that into a dope ass sentence in your goddamn CV. The market is beginning to pay for capability, not a credential. I love this. The honest caveat. Most employers say AI is currently complementing early career workers rather than replacing them one-on-one. And employer sentiment, while the most pessimistic since 2020, pandemic, anybody, is not apocalyptic. But the direction is unmistakable. Pandemic was apocalyptic, but AI is currently complementing early career workers and not replacing them. So it's not an apocalypse by AI, right? While the most pessimistic since 2020 is not apocalyptic, but the direction is unmistakable. As Washington Monthly put it, AI is leaving the 4-year degree valuable and insufficient at the same damn time. At the same damn time. At the same damn time. Bodega. A product that is necessary but no longer sufficient is a product losing its pricing power, which is the financial definition of a college in trouble. Y'all in trouble, man. Hey, well, here's what's actually happening. Put the 4 forces in one frame and the closure stop looking like a demographic accident and start looking like a market correction. For 60 years, the degree held a monopoly on a single lucrative function, converting 4 years and a tuition check into a trustworthy signal of employability. Demographics shrank the customer base. Online universities undercut the delivery model. The gig and creator economies attacked the belief that the signal was necessary. And AI is dismantling the entry-level jobs that gave the signal its cash value while elevating a rival credential, demonstrable skill that no campus monopolizes. The institutions that survive will be the ones that were never really selling the signal alone. The elite names whose brand is the network and the prestige, and the nimble giants whose product is access and price. Hello, Harvard. Hello, Yale. Hello, Columbia. Hello, Howard University. Goddammit. The ones dissolving are the middle. The schools whose entire value proposition was, we'll give you the card, in a market that has stopped paying a premium for the degree card. The degree card. It ain't that deep no more. It ain't that deep. It's like when everybody started getting tatted up. And people were like, you ain't afraid you're not going to get a job for them tats? No, they're not afraid that they're not going to get a job because of the test. 9 times out of 10, they're making their own way. And the other thing is, pop culture has eroded any sense that having a tattoo means you're a bad person. So creativity has caught up to the real world. None of this makes the human cost easier. Fewer than half the students at a closed college ever finish a degree anywhere else, and an abrupt closure cuts that number nearly in half again. Towns will lose anchors. I said that earlier. Think about it like jails. Faculty will lose careers. God damn, that's a lot of teachers, man. Communities lose the pipeline that kept their graduates local community. These are things we don't really want eroded because I gave all the fucks I could give about my college community. I loved being a Howard University student. That shit was awesome. But goddamn, the bread I would have saved if I was in the living room. But if you want to know why the closures won't stop with the next demographic dip, don't only count 18-year-olds. Watch what's happening to the thing a degree was supposed to be. A promise that having a degree or the card out of your Monopoly deck of options still opens the door to employment and opportunity. The degree card out of the Monopoly deck is still fine. However, the door, though, has moved. You can check that out. I wrote that. You can check that out on thewashstrategist.substack.com. My sources are the Hechinger Report, Best Colleges, Haran Consulting Group, Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. Listen, I don't play games, man. I'm a real journalist out here. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? That's what the Wash Strategist is about. It's about evolution. I went from full-time journalism to just taking my journalistic ability, storytelling, assessment, to giving you some goddamn game. I love cultural strategy. I love looking at patterns and trends and putting a strategy behind it. Because you know what? Low-key psychoanalytics is my goddamn game, bitch. I likes it. And I hope I'm enriching you. Listen, whoever got kids out there about to go to school, or if you as a grown-ass person are thinking about going back to school, just understand the online situation is way more attractive, affordable, and honestly, way more accepting. Now, I know we're going to have some anomalies out here like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I'm not trying to bag on Shorty, but, you know, she kind of fucked it up for the online game. Like, you making it seem like these places ain't shit. But that's a falsehood. If you're not out here perpetrating your credentials, then your credentials will be appreciated. All right? Yo, please like, subscribe the channel. We on the way to try to get whatever we need to get. But that ain't really my main focus, to keep it a buck with you. Although I appreciate anybody that subscribes to this. You know, I just want to give good information out there. I come from a real place, a passionate place. I'm not out here faking the funk. You know what I mean? So if you're rocking with me, subscribe. I will continue to bring you that dopeness and some real ass perspective. And please also go subscribe to thewashstrategist.substack.com. I'm dropping gems over there all day. The book is coming soon. I'm talking to publishers right now. Brand Power Direct 101, harness the psychology of your brand. That's going to be a game changer for you. I'm putting straight jewels in there for you to really win out here. You know what I mean? And again, shout out to the biggest brand story of 2026, the New York Knicks. They made every underdog feel like a whole damn believer. This was like the straight up real Rudy Rudiger, real Hoosier story. So I'm very proud of this, even though I don't play no damn basketball at my age right now. But shout out to the Black Tops of Harlem and the Bronx, where I used to get my shit up. You understand me? Yo, my name is Red Butler, the Wash Strategist. Thank you again, man. We live in the stew, doing it for you. Easy.